Goldman Sachs is talking about gold yet again. I guess they just can't help it since they are Goldman Sachs after all. But what are they saying? What is Jeff Currie, head analyst at Goldman Sachs, saying about gold and silver? It's likely some of the things we've already talked about because we've got it on good word that the precious metals traders, the people on the desk at Goldman Sachs, love to come down here to Ron's Basement and hang out with us. Maybe that's where they're getting their information from. Let's find out. Let's listen to what Mr. Currie had to say. Goldman Sachs had some very positive things to say about gold, and by default, silver as well. We know silver's like gold's little brother or little sister. So when they're talking about gold, as they are Goldman Sachs, they're also talking about silver, and they're saying all of this within the context of what they call a commodities supercycle, which they predicted back in 2020. Basically, what that means is we're in a long-term cycle where the price of all commodities should do very, very well. Very interesting that Jeff Currie, the head of Commodities Hold on, the bear needs to say something. Hold on 1 second. Oh, okay. The bear just wanted me to say hello to all the traders on the desk at Goldman Sachs. He said they watch all the videos and that's where they get their information. So the bear says hi to everybody at Goldman Sachs. Nonetheless, Mr. Currie called the current setup this: a bullish concoction for 2023. He noted that China is reopening. There's not a huge supply of commodities in general out there, but then he had something very interesting to say about gold specifically, and we're going to get to that. But before we do that, the most important part, I want to say hi to you. Yes, you. There's one you for joining me right now here in Ron's Basement. You are special, you matter, and your opinion matters. So leave a comment in the comment section below. Most important, thank you for joining me. I know your time is valuable. You can subscribe, turn on the ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Now let's talk about what Mr. Currie said specifically about gold. Gold, in particular, is likely to be on a cusp of a sustained upside as de-dollarization, we know what that means, right? The world is moving away from the dollar, and the dollar is going to become less valuable, is very bullish for gold. At a time that the Fed is likely to increasingly shift towards growth concerns. Now, we know what that means, too. Our old friend Jerome Powell at the United States Federal Reserve, as the economy slows, right, as the economy goes through the windshield, they're going to have to shift their monetary policy to a more dovish, more loose stance, which will push the dollar down further and make the price of gold and silver go through the roof. This gets very interesting when we consider the ETF angle. Guys, over the last year, the amount of silver and gold held in the big Western gold and silver ETFs, the GLD and the SLV, have dropped precipitously. So the amount of metal that had to be held went down, okay? Most of that was flowing to the east, China, Russia, India, okay? During that process, right, that puts downward pressure. People in the West were selling their metal. The East was sucking it up. If that were to stop, that lowers the supply of gold and silver coming onto the market at a time when we already know that the big major electronic exchanges, the COMEX here in the United States of America and the LVMA over in London, England, already have very depleted reserves in their vaults. It could set up a situation which is extremely explosive for the price of silver and the price of gold. Thanks for joining me again here in Ron's Basement. I thought it was real important we talk about what Goldman Sachs is saying. Look, we may not hold Goldman Sachs in very high regard, but remember, we're not part of the herd. And the herd does hold Goldman Sachs in very high regard, no matter how many times they're wrong about things, right? It's like the Fed. The Fed's always wrong. Inflation's transitory, blah, blah, blah. Goldman said this, Goldman said that. They're always wrong. They're no smarter, no better than you or me, okay? But we'll pay attention to what they say. We'll factor it into our big picture thesis, and it doesn't hurt that Goldman Sachs is very bullish on commodities and in particular gold and by default silver as well. I hope you decide to come back and join me again here in Ron's Basement. You can watch another video. We've got a new merch shop with Blindfold Bear. That's all in the description. Until next time, you be well.